This is what I do, I sit on you, sit on you, sit on you. This is what I do, I sit on you, right on your lap. This is what I do, I sit on you, sit on you, sit on you. This is what I do, I sit on you, right on your head.
Take, don't crucify me, but I feel like a lot of lesbianism being tied around what parts you have down there is weird. I see many jokes from specifically cis lesbians who say being a lesbian is about not wanting you know what, right? I can't say it on here.
I'm eating two veg, my twigging berries.
But like they'll make that the entire personality around lesbianism. I'm a trans lesbian who has not had bottom surgery. And I'm not insecure. I'm not insecure about the parts that I have down there. But I do feel unsafe when I go into lesbian spaces, like a lesbian bar, because there's certain people who still believe in the whole ideology of clocking and being clocked. And it's just weird, right? It's just weird. Personally, I don't trust it when people use the assigned gender at birth outside of its appropriate context. So when I see like lesbian bars or like lesbian oriented things that are AFAB only, it makes me feel a little unsafe, a little weird.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
It is nearly impossible to fully grasp the amount of irony we just heard from that young fella in the first clip, who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman and calls himself a lesbian. Now, he says he feels unsafe and weird when going into lesbian spaces. Not that they should feel unsafe and weird that he rolls up into their spaces with his wedding tackle hanging out. He's the one that feels unsafe and weird. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I took a few days off, which means we have a lot of catching up to do in the happenings of Clown World. And as usual, we have very little time to waste. So let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. So this is Rose, and like the fella in the first clip, Rose is also a biological man who identifies as a trans woman and calls himself a lesbian. Now, Rose uses she, her pronouns as well as ladies' restrooms. Wait, what?
Okay, that's not creepy.
Let's keep this party rolling with this completely unhinged Joe Biden voter who says that the Super Bowl parade tragedy that just happened is somehow the fault of, get this, Fox News viewers and Donald Trump supporters. Now, for those of us that have been paying attention to what's been going on, We knew exactly who the perpetrators were before we saw any of their pictures online, so I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. Roll it.
So a fucking mass shooting literally just happened at the Chiefs Super Bowl victory parade. Thank you, fucking Fox News. I wonder which fucking side of people got their whole base whipped up into a frenzy because they were mad about Taylor Swift. I have no idea who these people were that shot this thing up, but I can take a fucking wild guess. This is such fucking bullshit. This is why we need to vote these fucking MAGA people out of our fucking country. This is bullshit. It shows that there's at least 8 to 10 people. And this is not over football. This was over politics. I fucking guarantee it. Fuck MAGA and fuck you idiots who support Donald Trump. Jesus fucking Christ.
What did you say? What the fuck did you just say?
This was over politics. I fucking guarantee it.
Wrong again, idiot.
Now, obviously, that young fella filmed that TikTok before he saw any of the videos online of the actual perpetrators, but he's been so brainwashed with propaganda to hate Fox News and Trump supporters and the right that he can't even see what's going on right in front of his face. I mean, Scott Adams wasn't wrong. Anyway, next up we have Tom Hanks doing some kind of weird virtue signal to the rainbow community during this speech. Now, keep in mind as you watch this, Tom Hanks is a staunch Democrat and Joe Biden supporter. Roll it.
We vote for both who represents us in government and those who will not hold sway over us. We kick them out. And it is also a solemn responsibility that has more hanging in the balance for our freedoms and liberties now than it has in generation after generation. There are forces hell-bent on diluting the power of our vote by any means possible, like gerrymandering our districts, denying our right to vote altogether, removing mailboxes to make it harder to cast our mail-in ballots, and just recently, people posing as self-declared enforcers, actually intimidators, bearing weapons and wearing battle armor at ballot drop-off points. We vote. We vote our values and our rights. We vote our ideals as Americans in order to form what? A more perfect union. And a more perfect union includes he, him, she, her, they, them.
What the f does that even mean?
Now, you know Tom Hanks would never come out and say, well, maybe you shouldn't try putting your political opponents in prison or bankrupt them through lawfare, because that's pretty much election interference in itself, because that's exactly what his side is doing. Anyway, next up, so this person who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman gets very offended by this comment. The comment says, repeating trans women are women is gaslighting. Saying woman is just a feeling is gaslighting. Where's the lie? Roll it.
Okay, I cannot let this one slide. This is one of the most ignorant points I have ever heard. You will literally say anything is gaslighting, but let's actually break down why this is really sad. Your transphobia is misogyny in disguise. The minimization of womanhood to a woman's ability to reproduce is the core of misogyny. And if you would do some research about biological sex beyond what you learned in middle school, you will learn that biological sex is a lot more complicated than you think it is. The fact that trans women exist is proof that womanhood is a powerful quality of spirit. That a woman's reason for existing is not just to make and take care of babies. Saying that trans women are women is not gaslighting, it is just facts. And you saying otherwise is gaslighting. I am literally so over it. When someone tells you who they are, believe them.
What the hell did you just say?
Saying that trans women are women is not gaslighting, it is just facts.
You know, it's amazing. You are 100% wrong. I mean, nothing you've said has been right.
Now, I often say when we watch these TikToks that it's hard to tell which ones are parody and which ones are real. Because, well, the lines between parody and reality have become so skewed. In this one, well, your guess is as good as mine. Roll it.
Some folks will try to socially shame you for wearing a mask, even though COVID is still the third leading cause of death in our country. They want to socially shame you because they feel socially shamed themselves by you. You might even notice that they might be a little aggressive or angry when they kind of casually say, you don't even have to wear a mask. Like they're doing it because they feel like you protecting yourselves and others in your life, you making the most responsible and logical choice. That indicates that they're not. That indicates that they are not acting in a good way, and they want to not be reminded of that. They feel that if everyone was acting like them, then their behavior would be normalized, and then they would no longer be doing something unthoughtful, pathological, and awful. They would just be doing what everybody else is doing.
Well, I'm going to take this damn mask off.
Apparently, there are still quite a few people out there that haven't got the update yet. That those masks, they really don't do shit. Anyway, next up. So this lovely young lady seems to get offended when told she smells good by elderly white women. Roll it.
But listen, we need to have a conversation. I know y'all give compliments a little bit different because of y'all culture or your lack thereof, but we got to talk about this physical boundary y'all are constantly violating. I was not touched this time, but let me just give you the backstory. Earlier this week, I was in Walgreens. There was a little old white lady standing in front of the nail selection. I was in front of the eyelashes. I'm in Florida. I feel like that's important to the story. Anywho, she was like, is that you? And I was like, I beg your pardon? She was like, that smell? Is that you? Well, I wanted to say, well, whoever smelled it dealt it. But I felt like that was a little assertive for an 80-year-old woman on a Tuesday morning. So I was like, well, what does it smell like before I claim it? So she was like, oh, it's very fragranty. I extended my arm. She sniffed. She said, I smelled lovely. Fine. Good compliment, whatever. Well, why am I in TJ Maxx? Okay, the same place I get this mug because y'all always ask me. I'm in TJ Maxx 4 minutes into my shopping experience, and I am sniffed from behind like a in a damn dog park. What the is going on? So for a second, I paused, and I was like, is it my boyfriend? Because, boyfriends do that weird thing. Sometimes they just want to sniff you, and then I said, I do not have one. So it could not be that. I turn around, and a white lady is standing so close to me. Had she pursed her non-existent lips, she would have kissed me. So she's like, sorry if I startled you. You smell wonderful. Startled me, bitch. I almost passed out on this motherfucking floor. I'm gonna get my reparations one way or another.
What the hell is wrong with you people? Hey, where are the white women at?
Hey, real quick, before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this loop on the screen. Oh, not another one of those fork tongues. Gotta hurt, right? Anyway, today's video is being brought to us by the YouTube channel Clown World Explained. Thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate the support. And listen, Clown World Explained is trying to get some more eyes on some of his videos. So after this video, if you want to go check out his channel, I'm sure he would greatly appreciate that. I will put a link to that in the description box below. So once again, today's video sponsor is the YouTube channel Clown World Explained. Now, if you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. All right, enough. Get this off the screen, please. Ugh.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
All right, next up we have one of our teacher features. Now, listen to what this teacher says and tell me if you think that kids in some of these public schools these days even stand a chance. Roll it.
Most of us are pretty aware of how scary the world is right now, but especially how scary it is for LGBTQ people and specifically for queer kids. So I want to take this opportunity in the midst of all these horrific bills and laws and rules being made in the United States to share a little bit of joy, because I am a queer educator in a conservative state, and I have fought over these past few years to create an inclusive, accepting, and empowering space for all kids, but especially for queer kids. And today, I just felt the results of that as I was sitting in a room with a bunch of middle schoolers who were in a normal class, And they're all just so casually talking about being queer and talking about their relationships, and all of them are respecting like their pronouns and the names kids have chosen for themselves. And like I literally had middle school boys upset because they were like, why is every girl bi?
See, now that's some bullshit.
So that teacher just freely admitted that she gets joy out of sitting around listening to her students talk about their relationships and who's doing what with who. And that's not normal. That should be of no interest to her whatsoever. Anyway, next up. So I think this young lady has a wonderful singing voice. I think. But I'm having a hard time distinguishing the audio from the visual. So I'm not 100% sure. Roll it.
The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength with
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up with this clip from MSNBC. Now, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this woman is. But when I first saw this clip, I thought it was some kind of parody skit. But I assure you it's not. This is a real clip from a real network television program. This is what they're showing people on TV? Anyway, real quick, guys, I just wanted to shout out the Etsy store, Red Clover Fields. Many of you know that is my wife's Etsy store. She's got some fantastic stuff on her website, stuff I use every day. I take a spoonful of the elderberry syrup every day to boost my immune system. I put the calendula balm on my hands every day to keep them from getting dry and cracked up here in the cold New England winters. So if you're looking to boost your immune system or looking for some other natural remedies, definitely go peruse her store. I will put a link to that in the description box below. Anyway, guys, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, so please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time. I love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
Issue. I don't know if you saw our last block. We were talking about the conservative outcry over Beyonce's upcoming country album. One could joke this whole affair illustrates that the far right actually really hates cultural appropriation, but black people have always been a part of folk and country music. You want to weigh in on that?
If white people hated cultural appropriation, then they shouldn't have created music, because every form of music in America was stolen from black people. Rock and roll, jazz, blues, country, pop music. So if you have a problem with cultural appropriation, y'all created classical music. Y'all could have stuck with that. Roll the piano into this concert. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it only applies to the fact that, well, we don't like this thing. We can't steal this thing.
Right.
Listen, we keep showing up. We keep showing up and we keep doing well. Y'all let us do gymnastics. You saw what happened. Y'all let us do golf. You saw what happened. Now we in tennis. Listen, when we start messing with the Winter Olympics, it is over for y'all. I don't apologize for the inconvenience. Stop letting us do your sports. Calm down. So it's like, of course you want to be upset. You're literally running out of quarterbacks.
Right.
So it can't be, it's a conservative outcry. Y'all have nothing else to be mad about. That's all it is. Because if you want to be upset about something, gun control. You have all the time to fix that. But you want to be mad at a Beyonce album? Don't nobody think about them. They sound stupid.
Excuse me. The did you just say?
If white people hated cultural appropriation, then they shouldn't have created music.
That doesn't make sense.
And you ain't black.
Has she any credibility left after claiming she's a victim of theft? Financial advice columnist, remember that, Charlotte Cowles, who's written for the New York Times and New York Magazine, recently admitted that she fell victim to a scammer who stole 50 grand. True. She makes a living giving people money advice, and she got conned out of 50 grand. That's like finding out that Dana Perino runs a dog fighting ring. So how did it happen? This is hilarious. First, a woman claiming to be from Amazon customer service called Charlotte, telling her she was the victim of identity theft. Right off the bat, you should know, Amazon never calls anyone unless a driver needs a bottle to pee in. Then the Amazon chick connected Charlotte to a Federal Trade Commission investigator, also a fake. The dude told her that scammers opened up bank accounts, bought cars and property, and committed crimes all in her name. Then he connected her with a CIA agent. And you guessed it, also a fraud. I'm surprised she didn't also get a call from Elvis, Jim Morrison, and Bigfoot. The fake CIA dude told her she needed to freeze her assets and get enough cash out to support herself for up to a year. She magically came up with the number of 50 grand, which oddly they agreed to. So Charlotte went to the bank and withdrew 50 grand, which I'm surprised she had after paying for that lobotomy. But oddly, the bank gave her all that cash without a fuss. Yeah. The fake CIA agent told her she'd need to give it to an undercover agent and that they'd reimburse her later. So she had to take money out of her account to put other money right back in. And I thought Fox was gullible when they hired me. Later that night, she apparently met the fake agent in a car outside her house, put a shoebox filled with money in the back seat, and the car drove off. I'd say the driver was laughing all the way to the bank, but he was probably going to Cancun with Fannie Willis. Boom! The fake CIA agent then texted her a picture of a check that he said would be hand-delivered to her the next morning. I guess it didn't bother her that the check was made out to brainless dip. Needless to say, Charlotte claims she was scammed. So either A, she's the worst financial columnist ever for falling for this, or B, she's the worst financial columnist ever for making all this crap up. Because it sounds like an incredible story where you got to suspend belief to even make sense of it all. It makes you wonder, why would she write about it if it's true? Because it only blows up her career. But why would she make it up? Was it really a gambling debt? Right before the Super Bowl, did she put all her money on the Yankees? All I know is the media is even more gullible or dishonest than we ever give them credit for. I'll stick to getting my financial advice the old-fashioned way from Tom Selleck. I hear he's got an enticing offer involving a reverse mortgage. All right, Heather.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. You are a financial analyst. You, above all, know that, quote, financial advice columnists are full of
I did not say that. Not all. I mean, clearly she's not Susie Orman. She's not Jim Cramer or Tom Selleck.
Jim Cramer? Seriously?
Hey.
Jim Cramer's not even Jim Cramer.
I don't think he would hand $50,000 in a
real?
shoebox today. I don't think so. I don't know. It reminds me of Fannie Willis. Like, where'd you get the money? I don't know. My daddy gave it to me.
Yeah.
I took it from the campaign funds, Publix rebates. You know, I'm not really sure. If I go to the bank, most banks impose daily limits.
Mm-hmm.
If I try and take out over $600 from the bank, it's not either I don't have it. They're going to ask, what's the money for? My husband calls and says, what are you doing? Where are you going? So it really, she didn't say which bank, which branch. It's very hard to believe.
There's so many holes in the story. And Kat, the most basic question that I ask is, would sophisticated scammers who did their research target somebody who writes about financial scams or an elderly grandmother? Oh, no, let's do the person who just wrote a piece on financial scams. We're going to scam her.
Yeah. I would never, ever, ever fall for a scam like this.
No.
You could not scam me like this. First, you have to get me to love you, and then you can scam me. It's not a joke. I also just like the excuse for not telling her husband is like that he'd be implicated too. It's like, what, like, so you think that, like, did you and your husband not like talk? If this was going on, Cam would be aware of it immediately.